Hello everyone, welcome to another supplemental video that I just kind of felt like doing, so I'm doing it. Instead of replying one by one to individual comments I thought were interesting or whatever on the 10k special, because a lot of people brought up a few interesting things and made a few points, and there are things that I could indeed clarify that I didn't explain properly in the video itself, I'm just going to go over a bunch of them and talk about them here. My original idea was, I'm going to use Facecam for once. But the only camera I have access to is built into my laptop, and unlike smartly designed laptops where it's above the screen, so it's super easy to use, it's below and to the left a bit of center of the screen. So when I turn it on, I have the top of the laptop, it's facing normally, this is the easiest way for me to see the screen. If I turn it on, you get this, which is an incredibly flattering angle, I'm sure. So I'd have to like bend over like this. Also, I never am looking into the camera. This is me looking straight at the screen right now. If I look into the camera, you get that. I can't see the screen at all. Lighting doesn't work at all. If you wanted to tilt it better, then you got my ceiling and up my nose. Yeah, so that's why I don't use Facecam. And it's going to be a while before you see me regularly use it. I would need to get an actual additional device, figure out how to use that. I honestly don't think it fits my style of content anyway. But let's start talking about the comments. I refreshed this like 5 minutes ago. We're just going to go newest first to oldest. Now, this is mainly going to be focusing on things related to the battle itself and clarifying or refuting things people say about that. So, while this is very nice comment, thank you for making this, I'm not going to go over every complimentary thing complimenting me as a person. I'm going to more be talking about things related to the battle itself. So, didn't even start watching the vid, and I know Shulk won. Okay, good for you. What's next? Ricky versus Tatsu versus Tora. I mean, I could do that right now. Ricky's the best as a character. Tora probably beats Ricky in a fight. That's about it. Two minor nitpicks. Melia is definitely weaker than Shulk when he gets the Monado 2. Comparing Metal Face fights. Okay, that is fair. But I'm docking Shulk points against Mechon because once he gets the Monado 2 is super effective on Mechon, so we don't know how much of that is it being the Monado and how much of it is Shulk's actual power. And the other one is Shulk's tearing when he gets the Monado 2. Prison Island Zanza makes points about how the appearance is just an illusion, and it is the weapon the Bionis used, so Shulk should be scaled to the Bionis as soon as he gets the 2. That's very fair. I mean, yeah, if you're just talking about massive buff to him, then sure, that makes sense. So, about that though, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, he grows to be about as strong as the Bionis. We saw the Yaldabaoth fight. He easily beats the thing that's powering Mechonis, but I'm pretty sure he has to get up to that level. So, Mechonis Core Monado 2 Shulk, probably that level, but I think he does have to work his way up to that. He doesn't start out immediately gaining the full power. Plus, he doesn't have reality warping or any of that Zanza normally has. So, he's using the same weapon, but he's not as good at it as Zanza is. And also, keep in mind, it took until Mechonis Core for Zanza to come out. I know that was part of the plan, but I'm also thinking that, hey, maybe his vessel needed to be strong enough to draw out the full power of the sword before Zanza could come out too. Shulk wins because Rex gets carried by Mithra, Pyra, and basically all blades. Shulk could the thing is, Shulk gets carried by the Monado. If you take away blades, you also have to take away the Monado, and then Cross wins, so, you know. Laura is not there because, in this situation, I don't consider Torna to be a separate game from Xenoblade 2. I'm mainly going on the most powerful protagonist from each universe. Laura is obviously weaker than Rex. Dunban, Stompall, and Beauty, sure. Shulk, correct me if I'm wrong, Rex might be faster. We have a concrete speed feat for Rex being light speed, but we don't know if Shulk could be faster than that. It's my opinion that Shulk's universe isn't limited to normal physics, so he might be able to go faster. Plus, he still has reality warping, at least equal to Rex's. He could go light speed as well. I would prefer to Elma as the X-Rep. I explained why. Okay. Cross can equip... Yeah, I'll talk about elemental immunity later. Nerf scenario for Shulk. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We might get a retcon on Shulk recreating the universe in Definitive Edition, and we're also probably going to get confirmation that Alvis is Ontos. Possibility for last section. Yeah, that's a possibility. I think it's... Well, the thing is, Rex and Shulk could probably still do damage to a powerful Skell. It's mainly the flying thing, because without reality warping, and the only instance we see of any of them being able to fly without a Skell is maybe Rex with his warping, you just can't touch Cross if they're just up in the air out of Ether Blast or Monado Buster range shooting a Gossar cannons down. I mean, this is a joke. It's a funny joke, but it's not what I'm talking about. More jokes. I need a bigger gun. Okay. Forgot to include... Oh, yeah, obviously Ardanian Soldier stomps. Podrick was holding back the entire time. Podrick is the only other fictional character that was capable of making Shaggy use more than 1% of his true power. To be completely fair, I mean, I took everyone out of their universe. I just had a scenario where Shulk worked as he did in his own universe, and where Shulk didn't work as he did in his own universe. He murdered one of them and still did pretty good the second one. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna go back to these. Cross. Yeah, this one. This is a big thing. They all had the regular weapons. I mean, I get what you mean. Where if they're just regular weapons with a power. Okay, I misread that. Yeah, that makes sense. Not upon Arc Sage stomps, obviously. I mean, this, how strong is Metal Face? That's not even correct. He obviously gets stronger throughout the story. He gets rebuilt multiple times and defeats stronger and stronger opposition, plus is able to match up with Shulk every time, up to and even past him getting the Monado 2. Wall level is definitely a low ball, because again, he casually destroyed the wall. If that was using more effort, like, the only reason he couldn't have murdered Colony 9 in its entirety is because his Hom's blood started running out. So, Metal Face, even then, is above wall level. I just use that as a, yeah, Shulk can take wall level attacks at that point. So, here we go. Reflect all builds for Cross. Reflect all plus Ghostwalker is a thing. That's another reason why I didn't use Elma. It was both a main character thing, a Cross has more versatility thing, and also you got the fact that Elma can't do either Reflect All or Ghostwalker. She only gets Ghost Factory, while Cross can get both of them. Ghostwalker is the thing you'd think with, yeah, that's definitely Cross's ace in the hole. Planet Buster plus Ghostwalker, they win easy. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't count Ghostwalker, mainly for speed reasons. Because, again, Rex is the only one with a canonically massive speed feat. We can assume that Cross on foot is slower than Skell Cross. And also, by the way, I never really articulated this perfectly, but in most fights in the endgame, besides ones where Cross needs flying to win easily, they would be on foot, because foot Cross is far better than Skell Cross, just in general, once you reach post-game, because of Infinite Overdrive and because of things like Ghostwalker and Omni Reflect. So, yeah, Cross would be on foot, basically except the post-game battle where they could win just by flying. So, Ghostwalker is mainly speed. I'm pretty sure that even with Overdrive on, Cross can't move faster than a Skell can fly, and as far as we can tell, Skells are probably supersonic easily, but there's nothing to indicate that a normal Skell, and not like an arc ship, would be able to match up with relativistic or light speed things like Rex is capable of doing. So if Rex, and by extension Shulk, ridiculously outclass Cross in movement speed, then they'd also be able to ridiculously outclass them in attack speed, which would mean they'd be able to attack fast enough to burn through the Ghostwalker before Cross could get it up again. So that's why I didn't really consider it. Reflect All, on the other hand, is kind of a big deal, because Ether is one of the elements in X, whereas all of the elements are part of Ether in the other two games, so that's a big deal. If they reflect Ether, then it's a pretty big thing. Xenoblade 2 has Reflect Immunity Aux Core, so, I mean, that would work. Purge would probably work. Also on Decoy, yeah, this is a very good point here. Omni Reflect is... Oh yeah, Omni Reflect is offensively weak, so it would mainly... That kind of build would probably just hope Shulk and Rex don't see what's wrong and stop hitting themselves, or keep hitting themselves until they fall over, basically. So, yeah, there's that. But I feel like with reality warping, both Shulk and Rex are able to just snap their fingers, hey, guess what, your Reflect is down. Plus, Purge is a thing. Plus, I mean, I guess if we're talking about gear for Cross, we could talk about gear for the others. And yeah, if we're also going Ether Resist Aux Cores, which you could get on both Skell and... not Aux Cores, Augments on both Skell and Foot, that's a big deal as well. Again, I figure Reality Warping can get around that. And when we get rid of Shulk and Rex's Reality Warping but keep Endgame Cross wins anyway. So it's kind of a thing like, yeah, this would be very useful if they didn't have hacks. But you're also strong enough where if we take away their hacks, you don't need that ability either. So it's there, but it kind of doesn't factor into anything. Faye would beat them all? Yeah, probably. Outside Xenoblade 1, Rex and Shulk are essentially equalized since the powers can... yeah, that's basically what I considered. Where if we put Shulk in his own universe where he has complete control, or at least over what we see, then, yeah, Shulk wins. But if we take him out of his universe, Ontos and Numa are most likely equal. It's basically limitations of the blade system plus other blades versus an unlimited Trinity processor core. So if you give Rex and Shulk completely equal stats, Rex wins because Nia and multiple blades and stuff like that. But, I mean, feat-wise, again, Shulk did the whole universe thing. Even if that's not exactly how it went, he's still shown to do much bigger things than Rex could, so I don't think it's fair to not give Shulk the win in that scenario, but that's why the nerf scenario Shulk exists, because of the whole outside the Xenoblade 1 universe thing. Yeah, I don't know. How strong is Cosmos? I will probably do that at some point, once I finish Xenosaga. Where's Elma? I explained Cross is more versatile, so they make more sense to use than Elma. Cross has trillion buffs and debuffs. Decoy, yeah. I mean, Foresight / Visions just kind of overpower anything. Cross doesn't have hacks. I wouldn't even... I mean, Decoy might be, and Reflect might be... you might consider that hacks, but, like, Reality Warping beats damage reflection, because you could say the reflection doesn't work. Let's see. Finally... 7 ads. It's an hour-long video. I don't know why you're surprised. How would you consider Adam from Torn of the Golden Country? He can switch weapons. He does not work at a more efficient team with Mithra. This comment here basically sums up my entire thing. Adam is a weaker Rex because the system of driver and blade combat in Torna is canonically weaker, even if it might be more versatile from a gameplay perspective. So, Laura and Jin were the ones through the power of poverty who figured out the best way for drivers and blades to fight. So, even though we see Adam at the beginning of Torna, having traveled with Mithra for a year and being a bit better with her, he's still probably weaker than Rex. Like, I don't think Rex, immediately after unlocking Mithra, is as strong as Adam was at his strongest, but Rex, with experience with Mithra, is above Adam. Adam's stronger than Pyra, but Mithra doesn't win. So, yeah, just someone agreeing with versus battle, doing some fanwank stuff. So, yeah, I only wanted to talk about the wiki because the wiki was the only place I could... VSB wiki was the only place I could find that had Xenoblade stuff. I know there are other outlets for doing versus battles. I just want to talk about that one. Hey, look! A very nice, cordial disagreement. Shulk being universal, meaning that he used all 3 of the Monados on top of all their power at once, does become a god. Obviously, he rejects his god power, but for the scenario, he held on to it for as long as that fight lasted. So, yeah. Highballing and saying outright made something that was a mistake. To be omnipotent, you have to be omnipresent. Yeah, I think I said omnipotent incorrectly there. He isn't omnipresent. He just has absolute control over the universe and then gives that up. But mainly, the crux of this comment is just a disagreement between this commenter and I on how the Monados work. They say that he needed all 3 of the Monados to do the universal thing, whereas I think the Monado 3 is just all of Alvis's power. Sure, he had access to Zenza and Manus Monados at that point in time, but Alvis showed that he used those as a representation of, yes, they're dead, but I reconstructed them from your memories, so if you wanted to bring them back, we could do that too. I was under the impression, yeah, he does throw the Monado 3 up with Alvis and the other 2 when he recreates the universe, but I always interpret it as, yeah, the Monado 3 can do that, but he just also had the other 2 Monados. So if you think you need all 3 Monados to reset the universe, then sure, that's completely valid. Everything you say here is true. I just disagree, and that's fine. I mean, that's blatantly incorrect. I get it's obviously a joke, but yeah. I hope Death Battle makes a Xeno Royale. I mean, I would, at some point, I'm probably going to do Faye, Cosmos, Shulk, Elma / Cross, and Rex, plus any future Xeno protagonists. I don't think you need Death Battle to do that. I don't think Death Battle cares about something as small as Xeno because money. And yeah, this is the same person who is the more experienced versus debater. I didn't know that was the stigma where versus Battle Wiki tends to highball people and Death Battle tends to lowball people. I do know people really like calling out Death Battle for bias. So I mean, like, if Death Battle wants me to have complete creative control over a Xeno versus battle, then I'll do it, because I would love to see this stuff animated, but I wouldn't trust them to be correct, and I almost hope that they make one just so I can debunk it and get views. I've looked at this comment a few times. Actually, can you see my cursor? You can see my cursor. Okay. I've looked at this one a few times. I don't know what this means. I think it's saying if Cross got a Monado, then it would be a lot more even. That is correct. Also, I don't know what Affinity Mission has to do with anything. I don't know what timestamp that's pointing to. That's just gun. Yeah, that's just saying you can get far more overpowered in X than you can in 1. 2 is pushing it with the whole one-shotting super bosses as well thing. But this is more of a joke, like, yeah, gun wins everything. Haha, making fun of my sub count. Spoilers, Finch wins. Yeah, okay. So, one other thing I wanted to go to was this individual who made a lot of comments. The end of Xenoblade. Well, basically, like, the thing is, they say some incorrect things, but also this is a very interesting case study because we have a Rex fan who is being as toxic to Shulk fans as Xenoblade 1 elitists are to Xenoblade 2 fans, which is just really interesting because I didn't think this kind of person existed. But we're just going to go through all these comments because a lot of them are wrong. Rex uses conduit energy. Yes, I said that. I definitely mentioned that. I said that Rex loses his hacks if the conduit is gone. Shulk does not lose in every fight. Conduit energy is what created the 2 Xenoblade universes. That is incorrect. Conduit energy might have created Xenoblade 1's universe, but Xenoblade 2's existed before the conduit was discovered and utilized. It is our universe, and as far as we know, a cross-shaped, higher dimensional construct did not create our universe. It might have. It might be retconned into Xenoblade 2, but as far as we know, it was either divine creation or the Big Bang that created the Xenoblade 2 universe. So, yeah. Rex has more power than Alvis himself, and you still say he loses? That, no. Are you sure you did your research? Yes. All your theories have been bad so far and are continually proven wrong. Wait for Definitive Edition to come out and prove the Ontos thing correct. Came here to see unbiased opinions, but I guess let's over-glorify a terrible protag who only cares about revenge and can't do anything right? I mean, you're just bashing Xenoblade 1. Also, if this was an actual debate, I would ignore anything, all your actual points towards the fight, because you're just ad hominem attacking me. So, I mean, eh. At the end of Xenoblade 2, the architect states power uses coming from the conduit, which is a universal matter that can change space-time itself and create new universes. It is capable of existing within multiple universes at the same time, correct. If the conduit and the Zohar are the same thing, which, I mean, they probably are, then, yeah, it has some extreme universal power. Rex does not have the power to manipulate the universe anywhere. If he did, he would have teleported up to where the architect was and not climbed the world tree. He wouldn't have had to fight any battles. Like, Shulk gains the power to reset the universe halfway through the final boss fight, because once he gets that power, there's no tension left in the story. Rex gets his massive power up, but it's not strong enough to be a win everything and solve the conflict instantly button. He still has to work past getting that. So, no. Endgame Rex does not win. Endgame Rex with nerfed Shulk, or outside of his own universe, Shulk does win. Have you played the Xenoblade games? Yes, I have proof of that. There is an entire stream series of me playing Xenoblade 1 on my channel. Starting to doubt you have with your lack of attention, major plot points in the stories. You're just wrong. Only time Cross potentially wins this early game. Does that mean Rex is universal? Because if no, it does not. Rex and Shulk could not beat each other. I mean, again, equal stats. It's a stalemate until Nia comes out and prevents Rex from dying. The Monados are just creations from Alvis, and Shulk can't change time or space at all. Again, he recreates the universe. If we get rid of Alvis, we have to get rid of the Aegis as well. And I mean, Rex, just with normal blades, beats Shulk without a Monado at all, obviously, but it's not fair if we take away Shulk's conduit power and not Rex's. Shulk is not universal. He chose not to let Alvis make him a god, and you could argue Alvis was doing all the work most of the game for Shulk. Yes, you could also argue Pyra, Mithra, and Numa are doing all the work most of the game for Rex. Rex has 0 power without his blades. We can't give Rex his blades and then not give Shulk the Monado. It just doesn't work that way. Shulk might not be universal. Yes, that is correct. He chose not to let Alvis make him a god. Yes, that is correct. He still had the Monado 3 and had the god powers for a little bit of time, and that is the version of Shulk I put into the endgame battle. Spoilers, Shulk is just a god's puppet and can't even wield the Monado right. He gets the Monado 3. You deny Shulk of his weak power and act like Shulk could win in any scenario. No, Shulk lost in most of these scenarios. Cross beats Shulk and Rex beats them all using Numa and changing the laws of the universe. Cross beats Shulk sometimes, yes. Rex could erase Shulk and Cross from existence. No, he can't. He clearly does not have the power to do that. Otherwise, he would have done that to several other enemies. Yeah, he wasn't trying to kill Malos and Jin, but if he had that power, he would have erased Amalthus when Amalthus was about to bring the World Tree down, and yet Jin had to sacrifice himself for that. Shulk is mentally weak and can't... You're the one who hasn't played Xenoblade 1. Shulk has to learn how to use the Monado sometimes, yes, but Monado 3 Shulk, you're ignoring Monado 3 entirely. Even at the end of the game, he's still weak. He's weak because he gives up his power. Cross is an avatar you customize, so he easily beats Shulk. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I can customize a me. Does that mean my me can beat Shulk? I don't think so. Shulk's visions aren't even that strong. They're better than Rex's foresight, as far as we know. Yeah, this might be a troll. I'm not entirely sure. But, like, visions are better than foresight. Rex can make it so visions can't be seen through Numa. If Rex can hypothetically do that, Shulk can do that too. We have no idea of how long Pyra can stay as Numa, so either it's safe. I mean, yeah, that's true. She stays as Numa for a lot of the major fights after she becomes unlocked. It looks like it might cost stamina, and if you beat her up enough, she'll drop into a lower form. But I was just assuming that she could stay in that form indefinitely for these fights, and he still lost sometimes. So yeah. Theory for Shulk might be able to win over Rex because of the ability of the Monado to adapt to its enemy. I don't really think that's a thing. Like, he learns new Monado arts as he goes, but there's no indication that those are Shulk's Monado arts or ones that Zanza didn't have access to. I'm not going to read all of these. Rex can use the conduit energy. So can Shulk. Alvis's power also comes from the conduit. I don't know where you're getting this. I'm not going to bother reading the rest of this conversation. Xenoblade X map is around 400 square kilometers. I mean, I don't know how this turned into a let's get exported to the Switch conversation, but sure, whatever. Also, I got a new comment while doing this, so this was about the Xenosaga thing. So yeah, okay. You might think I'm done because I went over the YouTube comments, but no, someone actually posted this on Reddit too. You might be wondering, why don't I post my own videos on Reddit anymore? It's mostly because they don't do too well. There's almost no point in posting things on Reddit when you're me. Like, first off, 29 upvotes. How many subscribers does the Xenoblade sub have? Okay, there's 379 people. Okay. I don't know where it lists the amount of subscribers. Okay. 58,000, 30 people look at it. Obviously, there's a bunch of different stuff about that, but it's not really worth it. Like, I lurk on the Xenoblade subreddit. I check it most days. I very rarely comment on things, but I am there, so watch what you post. Don't post things you don't want me to see, because I'll probably see them. But, like, Anel is much more active in this community. He even has the community contributor flair on the sub. His latest video post got only like 60 upvotes or something. I mean, yeah, when I tweet out my videos, they don't get that many things, but it's not really worth it in terms of self-promotion. So if someone wants to post my stuff there, then sure, go ahead and do it. It's not a real point for me to do it. And also keep in mind that Anel's channel is growing a lot more than mine is currently. Like, that's not a thing against him or a jealousy thing. He probably should have passed me. Also, follow him on Twitter, by the way. He's doing a giveaway of the Xenosaga series, which feeds into my video from yesterday. Anyway, there's not really a point. So, anyway. Only one of them ends up with the power to control reality. That is incorrect, because Rex gets that too, just on a smaller scale. Poor non-Monado boys didn't stand a chance. I mean, technically Rex gets a Monado. So I guess they're just referring to Cross here. Not the biggest fan of Versa topics, since they end up being pretty inconsistent, unless it's about characters from the same exact setting. I mean, they're also boring if you just talk about the same exact setting. I feel it's more interesting if you try to apply things across different universes, honestly. Power scaling ends up being different in Xeno games, because late game Xenoblade 1 goes into God, Xenoblade 2 has rewriting reality, X is basically Soldier with mechs. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's why I think it's interesting that Cross can sort of stand up to them near the end of the game. Pointing out Titans aren't actually that big, so Siren aren't as impressive as they are in universe. So, yeah, that's just a thing that some people, I think, weren't thinking about. That's fine. I forget things a lot, too. Finch is my mascot for a reason. Even though I don't agree with the gameplay proof, since there's unfortunately a clear distinction between story/gameplay, and let's be honest, Cross wouldn't be able to take on a planet-busting threat all by himself story-wise. Cross doesn't have any story feats, though. That's the thing. Because of the customization, there are very few cutscenes where you see characters actually fighting, so we don't know who or what they're capable of defeating. And either way, they still have the Zoofarg in there. Like, Cross wouldn't be able to... I don't know. I disagree with that. The reason I scaled Cross to Planetary was so there was a point to having an X character in the debate in the first place, and X fans are already the most oppressed group of Xenoblade fans, so I wanted to throw them a bone. It never occurred to me how X characters are the only ones who can't count on conduit-based BS. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that Cross is able to stand up as well as they can. If you consider peak power, Shulk greater than Rex greater than Cross, most of the time it would be Rex over Shulk over Cross. I mean, yeah, I mostly agree with that. Shulk has yep, this is exactly what I mean. Pneumo Rex is much stronger than Monado 2 Shulk or most forms of Cross, but Monado 3 Shulk just kind of wins everything if we go on the universe thing. We don't know the extent of Shulk's power with the Monado 3, so it might be on the same level as Numa. I mean, yes, but it's more so Shulk has the more impressive showing. It's Numa who has to prove that she's on the same level as Shulk, not the other way around. So when Sans unlocks Monado 2, Shulk will be able to shut down Rex pretty handedly. I mean, actually, this is one thing that I'm surprised no one brought up, and that is Replica Monado Shulk versus Nia Rex, where I said that Rex wins even though Shulk has visions and Rex has lost foresight. I guess Rex's foresight was already weaker than visions, so he wouldn't rely on it as much. And again, it's just a Nia immortality thing, basically. But, I'm surprised no one called me out or challenged me on that, because I think you could make a very decent case that, especially since I said Shulk getting visions is the main reason he wins at the beginning. Yeah, I mean, you could have called me out on that. You could definitely make a case and probably out-talk me in that situation. I'm just surprised no one thought of it. Anything Rex does, Shulk can shut down before he does it with foresight. Yeah, I mean, I didn't count toppling. That's the thing. Monado armor doesn't make it irrelevant. You could probably reality warp around Monado armor if you can reality warp around reflection. Let's see. Cross the Shucks didn't give direct access to the machine. No, this is someone saying that Alvis is an Ontos, and I mean, I don't take that seriously. Honestly, you're going to the philosophical arguments. Shulk can't be omnipresent, I don't think. No, he has not used that. He only had Ontos. Shulk does not get Logos at all. He does not get Numa at all. He does not separate the bonds between atoms. I don't know where you're making all of this up. Shulk never gets the full power of the Trinity processor. He only gets Ontos. That's me. Actually, that's a bad post. I'm going to downvote it. Okay. Tier list. Post ends a Shulk. Architect. I mean, that's the thing. We don't know how strong Architect Klaus is. He doesn't have Trinity processor or anything, but he's hooked directly into the conduit and can do a lot of interesting stuff. Again, he no-sells Malos's destruction thing, so he might actually be above Numa Rex. We're not really sure about that. Rex obviously didn't want to fight him, so he didn't. And Malos without Ion couldn't beat him, but also Malos without Ion lost to Numa easily. I mean, Monado 3 Shulk and post Zenza Shulk are kind of the same thing. Zenza above Numa. I wouldn't really agree with that, honestly. Ion, no, that's Jin Maneth. I mean, Zenza with both Monados is above Maneth, but completely recovered Maneth and completely recovered Zenza just with their Monados are even. Kind of sure Shulk. Dixon weaker than Yaldabaoth? I'm not sure about Dixon being weaker than Yaldabaoth. I mean, there's not really anything to back up either way, but I feel like he might be stronger. Shulk greater than Rex, greater than equal to... I mean, no. Rex hands down. Cross is... How can I start? Because of the nature of the domains, Shulk has got to be... Yeah, this is what I was saying. This is basically you're saying the... That... What am I trying to say? This is the nerfed Shulk scenario. You're just treating the nerfed Shulk scenario by that, and in that case, Rex wins. Shulk is not... No, you're going into the philosophical underpinnings of the Xeno series, which has nothing to do with how strong the characters are. Shulk is not the equivalent to Klaus. Klaus does not have all three cores. All three cores. Shulk never gets Numa. He never gets Logos. He has Ontos at full power. That's it. You're just going into a big argument. You're bringing up Udu. I mean, I've seen this. This turns into an argument about whether or not Udu exists in Xenoblade 2, which is completely irrelevant because regardless of whether or not Udu does exist in Xenoblade 2, it's still drawing power directly from the conduit. Shulk does not get the full power of the Trinity processor. Alvis is Ontos. He's not everything. And even if Alvis was the core of the Trinity processor, not Ontos, then how does that mean he gets Numa's power when Numa isn't part of the processor anymore? It just doesn't make sense. Is no Udu in Xenoblade. I want to see... I actually didn't see this. This is a video about... Oh, this is just where Klaus says, oh, there might be a higher power, which doesn't confirm or deny that there's a higher power. Anyway, I think that's it. You're just... Yeah, neither of these people actually have any claims for their support for their claims, so I like how this argument is still going, but that was the last thing, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I don't know why I did this, but thank God this was only half as long as the main video. Goodbye.